Let's have a look at this Microsoft Power Automate community thread. So the question asking here is related to Microsoft Forms, and one of the answers are designed as a multiple choice question set. So from those, how can we subtotaling the values from the form response? So that means if the user selected item 1, item 2, item 4, the total we should get here is $525. Okay, so what I did here is I set up a Microsoft form, and my number 2 question here is item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, and I set some values there. Okay, for that, I'm going to create a flow. So select the trigger as when a new response is submitted, and then search for that form, which is Sports Survey 2022. The next step we need to do here is again is the form, Microsoft Forms, and get the response details of that form. So that's again Sports 2021, 2022, and the response ID. Okay, now here I'm going to add quite a lot of combo statements. So I'll show you why it is. So here I'm going to get the first combos. I'm going to get the response of that select multiple answers if required. That's the question. See that? Yeah. Okay. Let's call it as forms multiple answers. How to find sum or total. Yeah. Okay. Just save the flow now. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the form and click on the preview, submit one of the answers. So selecting item 1, item 2, item 4. Similar like the Power Automate thread. Okay, so submitted the response. Going back here. Okay, the flow ran successfully. And let's see what we got here. Here we go. We got this as an array. That's what I thought. This is an array. It looks like it's an array. Like 2 square brackets and all those details there. So what initially I thought is, so I'm thinking I'm going to put a variable here and initialize the variable and call that as item values, and then that select that as an array. And the next step I'm going to say set the variable. That's a value, and I'm going to use that combos output. Okay, try to run it again. I don't need to resubmit again. I'm going to use the one of the flow features here, like the test features. So recently submitted and succeeded, save and test again, so that it will use the previously submitted value. Here we go, flow failed. It says cannot be initialized because it's a string, and it doesn't like it. Basically, it's treating that as a string actually. That's the reason. Okay, so then I thought, okay, I might convert that into an array again. So I thought I might use array of that combos output again here. Okay, so let's try to see now what we get now. Okay, flow ran successfully and we got that in an array now. So remember, that's another array also. So within that, we got all these square brackets, and also ideally what it says is in this array we only got one long text value. So it's not the ideal situation we want. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove all that. Okay, and I'm going to initialize the item values to total values. That's what we want, and make that as a float. And that's compose. I'm going to just to rename that just to make it more meaningful. So that is multiple selections. Here it is. Okay, that's good. So And this one I'm going to rename here called total values. Excellent. Okay, now run it again. Okay, flow ran successfully. You can see the piece of text we got here. So next step, what I'm going to do is, I know this is now a text value. So I'm going to remove the square brackets. Then I'm going to remove the double quotes, and I'm going to remove the dollar. I'm going to keep here the hyphen here. Okay. I'll tell you why we need that later. So remove all the other characters except the hyphens. Okay, let's do that then. So how we do that? So for that again, I'm going to add another compose. Compose probably is my favorite action step in flow. Okay, so I'm going to call this as more like a new comment, not new comment. I don't want to go through the go and add a comment there. I'm going to just rename that to saying clean up the text. Okay, that's what we are doing here, clean up text. Okay, so what we want to do here is I'm going to click the function and to go to the expression and use replace. So replace, what we are going to replace with, we need the first text. The text is the output of the multiple selection. That's output multiple selection, comma. Then put the left square bracket, and that I'm going to replace with two single quotes. That means blank. And from that output, I'm going to add another replace again, the whole. Remember, I can add another combos to do the next cleanup, and again the next one for each characters. But we could do as a one expression. So, but you need to be a little bit careful. So here with that result set of the first, whatever that text is, I know that's replaced the left square bracket is gone. So the next one we need to use is the right square bracket, then comma, and then again two single quotes without any spaces, no spaces, and bracket again. So that's gone as well. So what else we want to replace then again? We want to replace again. We got still got the dollar sign there. So whatever that result at the end, put comma, then put the dollar, then comma, okay, and uh, two single quotes, and that. And also we got double quotes also. That's also we want to replace. So it's lots of replace here. So another replace, then all the way end again, comma, and double quotation, then comma, then two single quotes without without no spaces there. That's it. Okay, let's run this and see what we are going to get. It's quite important here. So to test this, to know the results, what we are going to get. Here we go. It's clean up everything now. So we got item one dash, then item two. All the commas are there. So I said we want the commas and hyphen earlier. It's quite important because using the commas we can do a split now. So that's what I'm going to do next then. So next I'm going to add another compose. And just go and rename that to split each items. That's what we're going to do here. And for that, we know there is a comma there. So we're going to use the split expression from the previous cleanup text. So let's scroll down. You can see cleanup text output. Okay, output of the cleanup text, comma. Then here we know it's going to be comma separated. That's it. That's done. So from there, what we could do now is we can iterate in a loop now. So in an apply to each loop, from the previous output of the split each items output, that's an array now because it's a split. And then here I'm going to add another compose and rename again to saying each item value or each item text. That will be better. And here, the technique here we need to use here is in the function. Again, it's expression here. We need to use the each item as an expression. That's it. Okay, try to run this and see the result. Okay, flow ran successfully. You can see here that split into an array now nicely. And now here each text item I can get. See item one, then there's a space here also between that, and there is a hyphen there also. So because it's consistent with the space, dash, and space, you could use that as a delimiter of the for splitting to get the next value, which is this. So that's what I'm going to do. Or you can use a just a hyphen, but then you need to use the trim also to trim the left hand spaces. Okay, so here I'm going to add another compose here. And in this compose, I'm going to say here, rename to say each item value. Now that's what we are interested for the totals. Remember, we want to find the totals. So click the function again. And here I'm going to use the split. Okay, split of what? Split of the each item text, the above text, the previous step, that is that. From there for the split, we want to use the separator as space dash space. Okay. So that is going to split the item, but we want the so okay, let's run this. Okay, let's plan it. So that's a split. So next, run it again. Okay, flow ran successfully here. So here each item value you can see it's an array now, but we are only interested only in the last value only here. So we could use another expression to get that. So that means I'm going to extend this to last. The first means it will get the first array value. The last means it will get the last array value. So we can utilize the last expression here to get that. So here it is. So let's run again and see the result. Okay, let's see that. Okay, we got 225.00 we got. Now, using that value, what we could do now is we could go and we declared a variable called total values here, remember? That's a float. So what we could do here is we could say another compose. Okay, here we need to add another expression to do that. So for that, what we want is we want to use the add expression, and the variable we want to select, the variable of the total values with the decimal output of the each value from the previous step. Okay, so why we want to apply a decimal here? Because uh, the add expression expects the parameter as a decimal or an integer. So that's the reason we want to convert the previous each item value into a decimal. Okay, so that's the expression we need to use here. Add then the our variable which we declared as the float, which is variable total values, then another expression decimal, then the output of the previous value, each item value. Okay, that's the expression we want. So here that is the computational one, is it, for an each uh, item. So for that, I'm going to rename this again. It's good practice to have good naming conventions. So here I'm going to say total, current total. Okay, now finally we want to assign that to the variable again. So set variable and set the total values and the current total. That is the current total output. See that? Okay. So this calculations gives, add the current value from the total plus the previous value of the each item value. Finally, this is purely for the debugging purpose. We want to see what is the final output value there. So outside the apply to each, I'm going to rename that saying final value. Here all we need is a map the variable which is the total value here. Okay, let's run this flow and see what we are going to get. Okay, flow ran successfully. Here it is, 525. That's what we got. So let's go back here. See, that's what we want. So there is a format going on here. So I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, so to format, I'm going to again use that function and say format number. And what's the number we want to format? That is the total value of the total values. Here it is, then comma, then the format we want. So in two single quotes, put dollar dot 00. That's the format we want. And run the flow again and see what we are going to get. Here is the total now. So the question asked here is, how can I get total dash dollar 525? So for that, what we want to do here is, what we could use here is, we could use concat expression if you want. So we could use concat, okay, and just say total. Okay, that's the text we want, comma, and the next format, that the expression, the earlier one, and that. And if you want to make it, let's go back. How we want it? Total space. Okay, hyphen dash. Okay, so go back again. So total space dash space. Right. Let's run this. Okay, so flow ran successfully. Here it is. That's the format the user asked. So you can use the concat to concat and the format expression to get that desired result. Hope this is useful, and thank you for watching the video.